Josh on here at Beast Wrestling Reviews. Here to do that NXT review. Main event: Samoa Joe versus Rhino. We'll get to that at the end. Start off with the opening match. Had Charlotte versus Bayley. Now this was like which I'm pretty sure we kind of expected. This was not a long 25-minute match, but I think they went, 10, 12 minutes, maybe even less. This was now that Charlotte's on the main roster. You know, Charlotte, Becky, and Sasha are all on the main roster. Bayley's now really like the top dog down at NXT in terms of the women's division. And so this was just kind of almost not really the passing of the torch because, they've both been there around the same time. So it's not like, Charlotte's been there, like 20 years, and then Bayley just came in, and then like that. But now that Charlotte, Sasha Banks, and Becky Lynch are all on the main roster, this was this kind of a match, to give some momentum to Bayley. Now that she's kind of top dog around there in terms of popularity and all that, and so Bayley wins with that Bayley to belly splash off the second rope, and it wasn't. There's really not much to talk about the match in itself. It was an okay match. Bayley wins, but I kind of wonder where Bayley's future. Obviously, I see a NXT Women's Championship reign in her future, but in terms of main roster, you got all the people on social media, all the fans, they keep talking about the four horsewomen, you got and the four main and most popular divas who are, Charlotte, Sasha Banks, Becky Lynch, and Bayley, the four. And I don't even think you could argue. I think these are, the four divas that really sparked this whole Divas Revolution thing, because these divas can actually legit go in, wrestle, and they kind of, to me, and I think to the fans, is why this whole Divas Revolution thing is going on. And just, I guess, unfortunate, three girls got called up, one didn't, and Bayley just wasn't that one. So I kind of want to see, it's definitely going to be interesting to watch to see, where Bayley's, NXT career and main roster, eventually main roster career kind of goes from here. And when she gets called up, how much longer she's going to be there. I definitely see an NXT Women's title reign. How long is that going to last? All that kind of stuff. But one of the interesting things was during the match, I've never heard it before. I'm pretty sure that it's been chanted, but during the match between Bayley and Charlotte, you have the whole crowd chanting "Women's Wrestling," and I just thought that was kind of cool. How they're finally getting what they want. They're finally being watched for their wrestling and the fact that they're putting on great matches, and not just the fact that they're hot and they're wearing bikinis or they're out there wrestling in short shorts or whatever. They're actually putting on good matches, and the crowd is recognizing that, and so they're getting what they're wanted. They're getting what they're wanted, which is cool. To see the crowd chant that. I thought that was pretty interesting. But Bayley wins. She has some momentum now. Definitely see where it goes from here. And also, we had that little cutscene. We had that little, backstage segment with her and William Regal. If she beats, I think it was Alexa Bliss next week, then she will get to face Sasha Banks at the pay-per-view in Brooklyn, which I definitely see, Bayley being the number one contender, Sasha dropping the title to Bayley, Sasha goes on to the main roster, Bayley starts her NXT Women's Championship reign. That's how I would see it going down. You never know, but I definitely see how that going down, considering, you got Becky, Sasha, and Charlotte all on the main roster, part of this Divas Revolution thing, and I just think it would be the cool and right thing to do to drop the title or give the title to Bayley, and that was that was the first match, and then we go into we got this interview with between Michael Cole and Kevin Owens in the middle of the ring of an arena, and basically, doing a little interview between about Finn Balor and the pay per view in Brooklyn, and Kevin Owens challenges Finn Balor to a ladder match, and I would definitely this is one of the this is one of the things where I would actually like to see a ladder match because we didn't expect it, as to where, TLC or even Extreme Rules or Money in the Bank, you're going to see a ladder match, so it kind of takes a little bit of that surprise and a little bit of that specialness away from the way of the having a ladder match. But the fact that it's just a ladder match at a regular pay-per-view, you didn't expect it. It's not the theme of the pay-per-view is ladders or anything, so that's what I actually like. Finn Balor, Kevin Owens in a ladder match, definitely think that would be an amazing match. And then we got Kevin Owens talking. We know how good he can talk, and then he kind of storms off, which I always think is awesome when he just kind of rips off the mic and just storms off and is like "F you, Michael Cole." He didn't really say that, but it, just stuff like that is why I like Kevin Owens, and so I hope definitely that's probably the match more interested in seeing than probably a few more because it's Kevin Owens and Finn Balor in a ladder match, and that's going to be the only ladder match there, unlike TLC or something. That's not the theme of the pay per view. These are the type of situations where I like to see ladder matches. And then after that, we have a little probably 30-second match between Tyler Breeze and some guy, I don't even know his name, obviously an enhancement guy, but and beats him like 30 seconds, and obviously that huge announcement that I've already seen on Twitter and everything between between Jushin Tiger Liger something. My bad, I don't remember his name. All I know is that my brain is really weird right now. All I know is that his first name is Jushin Tiger and then something else at the end. And I know a lot of people might even yell at me for not knowing him, but I've really never heard of him, which is really weird because obviously he's big. He's been they showed the video packages. He's wrestled in WCW. They showed video packages of him working with Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero, all those kind of guys. JR has called I think plenty of his matches. But I've personally never watched one of his matches or even really known who he was until they just announced it on NXT that this is Tyler Breeze, that's who Tyler Breeze is going to go up against in Brooklyn. I've watched a little bit of Japanese wrestling, All Pro Japan and New Japan. Haven't really gotten too much into it just because, the wrestling's awesome. It's not the wrestling, it's just, I don't know, it's just, going on YouTube and then, watching their matches, and then, I'm always, with all the shows that, WWE has and trying to keep up with those and then doing the reviews, I try to watch as much wrestling as I can. I like the Lucha Libre. I like watching all that stuff. I like watching Japan's wrestling. I like everything in Japan. I got a freaking anime and manga channel. I almost love almost everything about the Japanese culture, but for some reason I've just never heard of this guy. But obviously he can work if he's that legendary, and he's worked with I was watching the video packages, just the fact that he's worked with in WCW, and he's worked with guys like Chris Jericho, Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, and probably a whole bunch of other guys that I just don't know because I've really never heard of the guy. But that's definitely going to be a match to check out. Definitely and it got me hyped now to definitely see, what this guy is all about, and what the buzz is, because just I've never heard of the guy, just because I've really never watched that much of Japanese wrestling to know the guy. And when WCW went out of business, I was 3 years old. So in 2001, I was 3 years old. I didn't start watching wrestling until I was 4 in 2002. So I mean, I really don't know the guy, and I really don't think he's wrestled in WWE. If he did, it either wasn't for a long time or it was just when I was young and I don't remember. But I don't think he's ever worked for WWE until now. But and then after that, we got Dash and Dawson versus Ryder and Zack Ryder and Mojo, the Hype Bros. Um, it was an okay tag match, nothing spectacular. I think it was like 7-8 minutes. I think it was. I'm kind of curious if Zack Ryder doing this tag team thing down in NXT. I don't know how old he is, but I don't think he's that old. But going back down to NXT, doing this Hype Bros thing. I mean, they got a pretty. I mean, they were getting. I don't know how long they've been doing it, but I think only a few weeks. But doing the tag team thing, doing this Hype Bros thing, I'm kind of curious if this is his way, to try and get people talking about him again. Definitely try and get back up to that main roster status, and not just doing 30-second matches with, like Wade Barrett, like we saw in Raw, or, just jobbing out to whoever. Because, I mean, I think there is a fan base out there who really like Zack Ryder. Maybe the tag team thing is, what he's about, and doing that Hype Bros thing. And we've seen, some tag teams down in NXT that had, a whole bunch of buzz in them, and now they're on the main roster. I mean, the Ascension being the exception, where, apparently they did really good in NXT, and then, they just suck, on the main roster. But I don't see why, I don't think I got into NXT or started watching it because it took me a while to get to WWE Network. I started watching NXT like 5 months ago. Basically, when the Ascension came up to the main roster is around the same time I started watching NXT. But I don't see why they were, popular down there. I mean, the whole Road Warriors ripoff thing just alone is like enough for people to hate or not hate these guys, but to not tune into these guys. I mean, anyway, I could go on. That's a whole nother video about the Ascension right there. But let's continue on with NXT. After that, oh yeah, by the way, the Hype Bros win, and then after that, Dash and Dawson do that pretty cool, like almost like a 3D, but instead of the cutter, it's a code breaker, kind of like Jericho's code breaker. I like it, and then that was it. And then after that, we got the main event: Samoa Joe versus Rhino. Could already tell, how this match was gonna go just by their styles. Rhino's very explosive, and he likes to brawl a lot. Whereas to Samoa Joe, he does like to brawl a lot too, but he also has that athletic in him, and then he has the little bit of MMA background, so he can go about matches in plenty of different ways. The match I think was like 12-13 minutes. Really wasn't anything special. I mean, it was a good match, but I mean, it wasn't this. It wasn't amazing or anything, but it was only 13 minutes long. And then Samoa Joe wins with the Muscle Buster, but I'm kind of curious to why Samoa Joe and Rhino are working together right now. Considering I don't think they will be anymore after this match. I think that's why they put it on NXT, just instead of like a pay-per-view or anything, just so Samoa Joe can get some more momentum. and face more guys and possibly go on the main roster, which, a guy like Samoa Joe, who's been in the business for a long time now, I don't even know why they put him in NXT. I know that's what they do now. No matter who you are, you got to go through NXT first, no matter how much experience you got. But, still, how awesome would that would have been to see, like Samoa Joe, like, come out in one of John Cena's open challenges and, like, take the title off him or something. They did train in they did train in the same school, so that also, it would have had that aspect to it also. But to put, Samoa Joe and Rhino this early, if you would have built, Rhino, has been in the game a long time, so, he's definitely not going to be in any main event pictures or anything, but I feel like if you would have built that up, that actually could have been a really good rivalry. But now I'm curious to where does Samoa Joe go after this, you know, and like who does he face now? Like, really is no indication on who he's facing going into that Brooklyn pay-per-view, or even if he's on the card. We already know it's not going to be Kevin Owens or Finn Balor because they got their match. Or maybe since it's a ladder match, which means no DQs, maybe Samoa Joe would just go up in there, lay everybody out, and then that'll be a statement. I don't know. But definitely curious to see if they do it Samoa Joe. And that was this NXT review. Not much to it. It was all out of a scale 1 to 10. I'd probably give this NXT about a 6. Just because, it wasn't that much excitement, but in terms of wrestling, it was a good show. So a 6 out of 10. I'm Josh Hunter here at Beast Wrestling Reviews. Please like and subscribe, share, and favorite. And see you next time, or tomorrow with that SmackDown review.